If you've not watched The Good Place, you're missing out on one of the best shows on TV right now. What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. This is Pretty Dece, your daily entertainment and pop culture show. And yes, today we are talking about The Good Place because Season 3 of The Good Place just debuted. I watched the first episode just minutes ago. The Good Place is a show that was created by Michael Schur, who is known as a writer for The Office, for Parks and Rec, for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So chances are he has worked on, he's had a hand in creating shows you might already enjoy. And The Good Place is basically his newest creation. NBC kind of said, make whatever you want, and The Good Place is what he created from there. As I said, Season 3 just started. I watched the premiere minutes ago, and if you've never heard of The Good Place, let me give you a brief rundown of the show. It focuses on Eleanor Shellstrop, and she is a woman who has died and is now in the afterlife. She wakes up and she is in the good place, which is essentially heaven. It's where you go when you die, if you did enough good deeds on Earth. It's this show that is incredibly smart. It delves into these complex philosophical topics while also being ridiculously hilarious. It's one of those shows like Parks and Rec, like The Office, that can be very fast and very clever, and sometimes you might even miss jokes the first time around. It's really, really smart and dense as far as TV shows go. And they also do a really fantastic job of utilizing their fantastical premise. It's not set on Earth. They're set in the Good Place, which is this magical land. So they can do things like make things magically pop into existence, have an artificial intelligence that looks and interacts like a real person, but can have all of the knowledge and all of the information of the entire world. They can make these weird reality-breaking things happen, like kicking a puppy into the sun, and it's great because of that. They really utilize kind of the full aspect of this, and they're not just doing a standard sitcom that just happens to be set in a place that is essentially heaven. So if you want to see a show that kind of has the sensibility of Parks and Rec or The Office, but can do ridiculous, insane things like show you a walking lava monster, The Good Place is the show for you. From the first few episodes of Season 1, you think you have the general gist of the show figured out. You think it's going to be kind of a general straight-ahead series. You kind of understand what's going to happen. But from that point on, they start to throw things at you and kind of twists you would never expect from the beginning. I don't want to give anything away, but it's a show you need to experience yourself, because from where it starts to where it is now at the beginning of Season 3, it's completely unexpected. You would never have thought the show would have gotten sort of to the point it is now and gone through the twists and turns that it has. The characters are also fantastic. Ones you initially hate, you'll come to love. Kristen Bell, of course, is incredibly likable in any role that she's in. The artificial intelligence that I mentioned a second ago, Janet, played by Darcy Carden, is fantastic. Her line deliveries are some of the funniest that I've ever seen. She can make just ridiculous, dumb lines. Really, really hilarious. You'll want to rewind them and watch them again. And really just watching these characters interact, they have such great chemistry. That's really kind of the heart and the joy of the show, is seeing all that happen. The Office is probably my favorite show of all time, and The Good Place is right up there. It's definitely in the top 3, maybe even my second favorite show now. It really, really is that good. It's especially the best show that is airing on TV right now, in my opinion. It's also great because everyone who's making the show seems to genuinely love the show and love what they're doing. There is a Good Place podcast where they go into the plot and creation of the episodes and kind of get some of the behind-the-scenes information. And it's really fun to hear how much every single person that's on the show loves what they're doing, loves each other, and loves just creating the Good Place. It's really great. So of course, Season 3, as I said, I just finished the first episode of Season 3 as it premiered. Let's dive a little bit into this season. So as I said, the show's kind of always evolving. Where it starts in season 1, you'd never really expect that we got to where we are at the start of season 3 here, which really is kind of about getting the band back together. So I won't spoil anything that happened in the first 2 seasons, but at the start of season 3, the main cast is kind of spread out to the wind. And this first episode really deals with kind of bringing them back together as a core group. So they have to find each other. So it cuts out some of the best parts of the show, which is watching that main cast interact with each other, but it's basically a lot of setup. They have to tell you a lot of things that kind of happened in this time gap that happened in the series, and kind of do a little bit of work to get the show back together. There's still some very, very funny parts, and you can definitely tell that they did a lot of legwork to set up what they're going to be doing for the rest of this season. So I'm really looking forward to the next episode now that they kind of have reassembled this main cast. Again, a lot of the show here playing kind of catch up and kind of keeping you up. Ted Danson, though, really gets to shine in his role. One of the best parts about this episode is Ted Danson's character interacting with an eternal doorman that sort of guards the entrance to Earth. That doorman is played by Mike O'Malley, and the interactions between those two characters is probably the best of the entire episode. It kind of becomes this recurring meeting, and then at the very end, when Ted Danson's character wins the doorman over, is just one of the cutest parts about the entire episode. So I really like kind of the things that they're putting in place and things they're setting up, and again, getting that band back together. And in typical Good Place fashion, this episode ends with a fantastic twist. It's a return of a character that everyone absolutely loves to hate, and an actor that everyone is going to be thrilled to see. So if you have watched the first 2 seasons, you'll be very excited to see who shows up here at the end. Now, I don't want to say any more. Again, I don't want to spoil seasons 1 and 2, because again, this is a fantastic show that you should really experience yourself. So if this sounds interesting to you and you want to get caught up in order to start watching season 3 now that it's airing, these are on Netflix. Season 1 and 2 are on Netflix. So go check those out, watch those. Again, you will not be disappointed. So that's going to do it for Pretty Dece for today. Thank you very much for joining me so I could gush about how much I like The Good Place and how excited I am that season 3 is finally happening. If you want to support Pretty Dece and help make this show a reality, you can do so. Visit prettydeceshow.com/listener support for all of those details. You can also listen to the show, and you can download it in your favorite podcast delivery platform. We are everywhere, including Spotify. You can also watch the video version on YouTube. Just search for Pretty Dece on YouTube or visit prettydeceshow.com/video. And finally, hit me up on the socials, as the kids say, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Pretty Dece Show.